What's up, everybody? It's Beth from our Liberty House. It is currently mid-May here in Sacramento, California. We are in Zone 9B, and today I'm going to be doing a garden tour of our backyard vegetable garden and showing you what we have growing this time of year. So since I've seen you guys last, we have been pretty busy back here. You guys have been seeing videos at our community garden site, which is about a mile from here, but we are still gardening here in our backyard and have since, you guys have seen it, planted out a lot of our spring, summer garden vegetables, and you'll get to see what we have growing today. So let's just hop right in and I'll show you what we have going on. So here is our backyard garden at a glance. I've got Liberty here in the garden with me checking things out. But it's, like I said, mid-May here in Sacramento, and if you're local and following us, you know the crazy weather we've had so far. We've had about like 3 weeks of nice cool temps where we got everything planted out. But this week and last week have been so hot. We're hitting 90 degrees, and already today it's like, I think 10 or 11 o'clock, and it's getting hot. So let's breeze right through this. Here in our first bed, this is our currently housing all of our onions and garlic. I have harvested a row of onions already, and I think these ones are pretty well ready too. I've never been super great at growing onions, but even the small ones we eat up nicely, and a few of them are starting to get that flower head formation, and really once they do that, you know your onions aren't going to bulb out any bigger. All of that energy is now getting pushed into flowering and going to seed. So I've left these in just because we haven't needed to eat them yet, but I think pretty soon these guys will be getting harvested and starting to dry out for use in the months to come. Our garlic I will talk about in just a second, but I'm actually back here on the back side of the bed at the trellis side, and I want to show you the tomatoes we have planted here. So when you guys saw this video last month, this trellis was full of peas. We've pulled those peas and planted a few tomatoes, and we're actually doing a collaboration with Wild Boar Farms, who is a local grower here in our area. And they gave us a few different tomatoes to trial this year. He is into like crossing different tomato varieties together. And these are a few of the unique ones that we're trying out. So I wish Lucas was here to really explain it because he is the tomato guru. But we have a berries cross. Can't remember what that is. A fruity orange large, so a larger tomato. I don't remember what this one is either, but these are just kind of some unique crosses. We have two of the same ones, and then this is called Tim's Taste of Paradise, a small gold cherry tomato with out of this world flavor. So we will see kind of what is to come with these, but so far since transplant, they're doing really, really well. Just kind of getting their roots settled and have grown a little bit. So we will keep you guys informed on how these guys are growing. Coming around, let's talk about that garlic. So this is, I believe, the Lohr's Italian variety of garlic. We have another variety of garlic growing in a different bed, but yeah, these are doing really, really well. They have really nice tall stalks. No garlic scapes yet, but so far so good. Our bachelor button flower that we planted in this box back here that you can't even see has completely taken over. The carpenter bees have been really enjoying it. If you look really closely, there's a ladybug in there. So just really nice to see all these pollinator-friendly little bugs out here helping us out. So I think most of the stock I had planted back here is pretty much done. You can see a little bit of clary sage still, but I'll probably start sowing a few more summer variety of flowers in here so it kind of transitions nicely. This next bed had all of our broccoli in it. That is all gone. And we have planted a whole bunch of peppers back here. So this is some of our hotter peppers in this bed. We have a few different jalapeno plants. I think that we have a Thai chili. And I want to say there's another pepper back here. I can't remember what it is, but the jalapenos are doing extremely well. Those were by far the biggest of the pepper varieties that grew in our greenhouse this year. So they were big when we transplanted them and have taken the transplant really, really well. These are some of the other varieties. I think these are the Thai chilies. Maybe there's a shishito back here. But yeah, they're doing good. I also planted a few different flowers back here too, a marigold, some zinnia. I think this is calendula. So just kind of intermixing a few flowers in here as well. And then this half of the bed is going to be dedicated to beans. We have a couple rogue garlic, I believe, in here still, but I'm having trouble getting our beans to germinate. I think with the heat, I just wasn't on top of it as much as I should have in the watering. So yeah, I'm hoping this will eventually be edamame is what I'm hoping for, but I need to resow this and the other beans I'll get to here in a second. So I do have strawberries in here. I just actually harvested a few this morning. I left them out just to show you guys, but we are getting a few strawberries, which is really exciting, from a couple different pots that I have the strawberries in, which is awesome. And then we kind of get into this arched trellis, which is one of my favorite features in our backyard garden. We are growing a bunch of different varieties of vegetables on the arched trellis this year. Last year this was our tomato tunnel, if you guys remember, but we wanted to do some crop rotation and not plant tomatoes here twice in a row. So what our hope is sowing some Armenian cucumbers here. I've already sowed them twice. Nothing has come up. Well, the first round, I will say, everything back here, if you guys follow us on Instagram, got annihilated by pill bugs. They just got torched. So you can kind of see we had set some beer traps. I left the containers in here for now. I haven't been actively doing the beer trap the last couple weeks, but we were for like 2 weeks straight, and it did really help the roly-poly situation. But the Armenian cucumbers did not survive that, nor the resow didn't work out for me. We had tried to do some spaghetti squash, so like this one and this one are two that we started from seed and transplanted. They're not looking too hot, so we did buy a couple starts from the nursery that are looking much better. So hopefully send us all of your good vibes that we will get some good spaghetti squash. And then over here on this side, another struggle was loofah. You can see I have one surviving plant that kind of survived the roly-poly infestation. But it's not looking too good. I honestly don't think it's going to survive. I also purchased some loofah starts that also died. So I don't know what's going on with this spot here, but things aren't surviving. So that's on my to-do list to try to restart some of the loofah because I was really looking forward to growing loofah this year. And then over here, I sowed a bunch of green beans. They're the yard-long variety, which we really liked last year, so we're trying them again. You can see a couple have come up, not all of them. So direct sowing is just not for me this year. You can see maybe there's one coming up right there, but it's, I don't know. I need to be better about hand watering, I think, especially as it heats up here. So wish me luck in that endeavor, but so far we got some spaghetti squash, and that's maybe about it in the arch. So stay tuned. In this little pollinator island is what I'm calling it. I have some more of that flax flower that's looking nice. This is that drumstick flower you guys saw in last video that's completely bloomed, which is really, really fun. And these are perennials, so I'm not going to tear this out at all. I'm hoping it'll kind of keep coming back each year. but I may sow some zinnias or something else in this bed just to get that year-round flower for the bees. And then over here, this is a lantana, so just kind of doing its thing for now. In there. Here's some more of that drumstick flower, some more of that flax, but these ones here have been blooming a little bit longer and I think are closer to the end of their life this spring as it gets too hot. So, and then in this bed actually mimics the opposite side's bed pretty well, except the peppers I have over here are all bell peppers. For the most part, I have some orange bells, some yellow bells, a couple of those candy cane bells, which is really kind of a fun and unique variety that has more of a variegated leaf. So I have a few of those. Kind of see that variegation there. And again, I kind of planted in or mixed in some calendula over here, and there's another zinnia. And then, oh, it looks like these are the shishitos. So I'm not sure what the other side was, something else. So yeah, a couple shishitos in there too. And then over here, this was planning to be some yellow wax beans that also didn't germinate or come up since I planted them. So I'm gonna try that again. And I think kind of on our to-do list, on our short list of things to do, is to go pick up some straw and lay that down as kind of a mulch. We really like the straw just because it will break down. Rather than like a wood mulch is a little bit harder to work around year after year. So we really like the straw because at the end of the season we just compost it and it composts pretty quickly. So I'm thinking maybe that straw will kind of help, especially as the weather heats up a little bit more. So that's it for these 3 beds. Let's walk on over. I have a few more to show you guys. Okay, so this bed is all of the rest of our garlic. So we have half a bed over there and then another bed right here. This is all garlic because we are a garlic family. This is the Lourdes Italian variety. Is that what I said the other one was? The other one was the Echilium Red. This is the Lourdes Italian, I think, or maybe it's vice versa. But anyways, still also looking really, really good. I know you can't see me, but it's honestly about like, about chest height, just about. I mean, granted, it is in a raised bed, but so probably like coming up just about to my armpits. Not that I'm super tall of a person, but yeah, it's just looking really, really good. So this could use some mulch as well, some of that straw. And I just have to give you a moment for our cute fig tree, because the last time you saw it, it was just like a little baby fig, just starting to come out of winter, and now it's totally just looking really, really good. You can see we have some figs growing in here. Not a lot because it's a little, not a big, big fig tree here in its pot, but much more than last year, which is really fun. And you can see our lavender here is looking really, really good. I actually really like to harvest this French lavender and put it into like cocktails or mocktails, or you can dry it out and use it for like putting it into your baths and things like that. So it's kind of a fun herb to have in the garden, and it's super drought tolerant. Like you honestly don't water it very much. So in Sacramento, that is good for us. Okay, so moving along, we have, here's another one of the Wild Boar Farms tomatoes. We planted in here because we actually have 2 of these like mini pot variety of tomatoes. So this is going to stay super, super small. So we opted to plant it in a pot. And it is starting to get some flowers and it's just kind of cute. So we'll see. This is a golden hour, so I think it's going to have little golden tomatoes, which I'm sure will be yummy. This has some potatoes coming up, so we're just letting it do its thing. We haven't planted anything in this pot yet. And then these are more of those Wild Boar Farms tomatoes. These are mini Marzanos, and you can kind of see we actually have a little bit of fruit set in there. So we're just kind of letting these do its thing too. We haven't really been pruning these at all or doing anything to the Wild Boar Farms tomatoes, and just kind of seeing how they go. So I did plant a little nigella. If you guys remember that from last year, it was one of my favorite flowers I grew. So I started some more of that from seed, and I planted one there. We don't have anything in here other than that one tulip, and then this is a potato, so maybe we'll have some potatoes in there. And this trellis here, we reset it. It had the spinach and peas on there. We took those out and planted a couple tomatillos. So we're just letting those do its thing. I always like having a couple tomatillos. You always want to have two because they need each other to pollinate, but it's just fun for summer salsas and things like that. And then kind of moving on, we have our last U-shaped bed here. We have one more golden hour mini tomato here in this pot. And our blueberries are getting really close. See, they're starting to change some color. I've seen some birds. Oh, actually, that one is totally ready. Yeah, I've seen some birds in here, so I'm like, I think they're ready. Or a few of them are, because those birds can find them. So yeah, I might have to come out here and start harvesting a few of these. Because look, whoop, there they are. So, and we have quite a bit of fruit set on here, so that's really exciting. So then over here, honestly, a lot has changed in this back bed too since you guys have seen it last. We have planted more peppers. We have a lot of peppers this year, guys. So we have a couple habanandas, which is like that heatless habanero, and these are, I don't know, I don't love this variety. We just had some extra seeds, so I didn't want to just toss them out. So we started a couple of them and I planted them here, but they're really kind of dinky, so I don't know what's going to happen with those. But then we just had a couple extra like bell peppers. So these 4 peppers here are a couple yellows and a couple oranges. So we'll see. On this trellis here, we had our cantaloupe trained vertically last year, but this year I opted to just plant some flowers. So this is a black-eyed Susan vine I'm really excited about. And then kind of over here on this side is all just flowers. So I didn't plant any more vegetables, just some more calendula, some more of that nigella, some marigolds, some zinnias. And then here's a couple more marigolds. We have basil all right here. That's honestly looking really good since transplant. And this clary sage that you guys have seen all winter long is like in its prime time of blooming, and the bees are obsessed with it. I'm seeing a lot of carpenter bees. There's a honeybee over there. But yeah, it's just looking really pretty. And then, like I said last video, this back trellis is going to be all tomatoes. So these are tomatoes that Lucas and I started in the greenhouse. And I'm just really excited because we planted some black crim, which was our favorite last year. And these are all indeterminate tomatoes, which is why we like to trellis vertically. We don't like to use tomato cages on our indeterminates because they outgrow them way too fast. So we have a ton of tomato content on our YouTube channel under the tomato playlist. If you guys are interested in learning more about like how we trellis and why we trellis vertically, Lucas does a really good job explaining that. But and then how we prune them too, because you can kind of see like this is a sucker. So with our indeterminates, we always, I need to get the pruners out for this one, it's a little bit bigger. We prune them pretty heavily in order to grow vertically, and then we'll let them kind of branch out. And that is why we can plant them so close together as well, because we train them to go vertical rather than to the side right away. Anyways, let me get off that topic and I'll let you guys go explore that playlist if you want to learn more. But we have 2 black crim. We have 2 Berkeley tie-dye, which is another just super delicious slicing tomato. We have some green zebras. These guys are just huge. We're one of the best growers, so in our seed starting setup this year. And then there at the end is a single a single cherry tomato. It took me a minute to think of that word. Over there. So usually just one cherry tomato is plenty for me. So, and then over here we have a little bit more of that bachelor button kind of taking over. We have growing in this jungle fava beans and some borage is kind of intermixed in there. But literally yesterday we went and harvested all of our fava beans. We made this really delicious kind of Egyptian Mediterranean style dish for dinner that was amazing. We've never grown favas, nor have we eaten them before, but we really liked them. So I have a feeling we'll be growing more fava beans next year. So, but yeah, I think honestly we did a pretty good job harvesting. We just have to clear the bed now and make room for something else. So. And right here, I just have a few more pots with some strawberries in here. The strawberries have been doing really, really well in pots. I don't like to put strawberries in our beds because they take over. So I do like the pot method that has been working well. Okay, got a few other things I want to show you real quick. Liberty's just loving the sunshine. But our rose bushes are really coming to life right now and are looking really, really good. We have 2 hybrid tea rose. This is the sweet Mademoiselle, which is always really pretty this time of year. But one thing, if you guys have rose bushes of your own, it's a good time right now to kind of open up and prune back this bottom part near the base of your bush. Because what this will do is allow airflow to get in there, and it's going to prevent a lot of diseases throughout your growing months. So I did this last week, I think, but you can see I just defoliated the bottom like foot or so of all of our roses, and that's hopefully going to prevent powdery mildew from creeping up and anything else, because roses do not like wet feet. They don't like to get sprayed, so ours are on a drip, so we don't really have to worry about that. But if you're hand watering, just make sure to try to avoid getting the leaves soaking wet every time, because that's gonna cause some fungal issues for you. But we have those 2 roses there, and then our arch trellis is really coming to life. I always love the first bloom of the season for these roses. These have been here for, I want to say this is going on their 3rd year since we planted them. And I have a video about how I prune all of our roses back during the winter months, which really just allow them to look as good as they do right now. So yeah. We also have a couple artichokes, and it's artichoke season right now in Sacramento. So we've been eating a few artichokes, and it's amazing how many artichokes you really get off of each plant. These ones over here are ginormous. So we have been eating a lot of artichokes, which is good because we love artichokes. So here's the other sweet Mademoiselle. Just look at these gigantic blooms. I love them so much. Just really, really pretty. And coming over, we do have a nasturtium. We threw some seeds down here a few years ago, and just it comes to life every year, and it's really awesome. We don't really like harvest any of this. You can eat nasturtium, you can eat the leaves and the flowers, but we really just let it be a trap plant for aphids. There's a little bug right there too. I'm not sure what that is, but it attracts aphids, and they will hang out in here. And we often notice that there's a lot of ladybug activity around our nasturtium. I don't see a lot today, but in years past we've had just tons of ladybug larvae, and it just becomes kind of a breeding ground for the ladybugs or soldier beetles, both of which are great beneficial insects. And then we have our last bed here, which we really haven't done anything with this season yet. I threw down some calendula seeds just because calendula is awesome. I haven't really, could use a deadhead here to keep blooming, but yeah, just letting that grow. We have our passion fruit vine growing up here as well, and we've talked about ripping it out. It wasn't the best spot for us to plant it, but so far it's still there. So, and then, you know, my videos always end with our couple trees. We have Alfonso here, our avocado right here. Not much going on with him, but he's growing tall. He could probably use some attention. We honestly don't give him a whole lot of attention, but we'll see what happens if we get an avocado. And then our lime tree also could use a little pruning, especially down here around the bottom. But you can see it's starting to set a few flowers, some fruits for next year. So I do really enjoy these limes. It's a bear's lime tree. And that's really all we got going on in our backyard here at our Liberty House in May. So just kind of that fun changing of seasons. A bunch has gotten planted, kind of some trials and errors in getting things to germinate that were direct sowing. But that's kind of the challenging part about this time of year. So hopefully by next month you'll see exponential growth. Hopefully my beans come in, maybe my cucumbers and the loofah, we shall see. But as always, thanks so much for watching and staying tuned. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and come follow us on Instagram. We love having friendly conversations on either platform. So until next time, see ya.